Hello, you beautiful people of Earth. Welcome to a brand new episode of Frequels. I'm your host, EJ Leeson, and with me today is my co-host with the most, Rory Colarossi. What's up, man?
Not much. What's going on, EJ?
Just hanging out, watching a lot of Criterion Collection movies.
Oh,
lately.
yeah. Did you watch any of the ones that I recommended, or do they just fall on deaf ears?
They fell on deaf ears.
Okay,
I
good.
just completely ignored all
I
your
have
recommendations.
terrible taste anyway, so.
Yeah, no, I actually watched Lady Snowblood.
Okay,
it was amazing. I loved it. Yeah. I didn't know Quentin Tarantino actually used the song from that movie. Yeah.
And he also had his actors watch the movie while they were doing Kill Bill, so that's a fact that no one listening will care about.
Yeah. No, but like the structure of it and like how it goes back and forth, I actually loved it a lot. And I watched Day Trippers.
Okay.
Did you see that?
No.
It's like a Greg Mottola movie from 1997, but Liev Schreiber's in it, and it's like my favorite role of his.
Oh, okay.
And talking about Liev Schreiber,
speaking of Liev Schreiber,
who recently just said he regrets volunteering to die in the third movie because if he
he read the script.
Yeah, he said if he knew this series would keep going on, he would have just like tried to stay alive so he could be in all of them.
Line his pockets with money.
Yeah, but he was talking about Scream, and today that is our movie. We're talking about Scream 6.
We are?
Yeah. Oh, wait, did you write notes for something?
I watched Braveheart.
Okay, well, it's close enough that you should be okay.
I like the money pit.
I like the money pit. Can we talk about the money pit?
Let's talk about the money pit.
But yeah, so today we're talking about Scream 6, which just came out this year. And what did you think of this movie, or do you want to save it to the end?
To the end.
Okay.
Because second we start talking about how we felt about it, people are just turning it off faster than they normally would.
Right. They'd be like, "Oh, that's how they felt about it."
Yeah. Well, no, I know. I don't need to listen to them go on and on and on about nonsense.
Yeah. No. But yeah, you have a question, right? That you wanted to throw out there?
Yeah. We were wondering this last night. So, Ghostface robe.
Yes.
Why is it all bedazzled?
Oh,
like it's all sparkly.
Yeah. I think it's to
make him look beautiful.
Yeah, well, and it's good for leaving evidence behind. Like glitter gets everywhere.
You think that's how the cops figured out the Scream?
So just in case they're
glitter
like
all over this guy,
who killed this person? It could be anybody. Oh wait, there's glitter here. It's a
this ain't a Michael Myers crime.
Yeah, it's definitely not Freddy again. I think it's maybe just like a choice. It gives like a little bit of a pop. Maybe, right?
I just think Ghostface is vain. Yeah. I think he's just like, I want to sparkle.
I want to. Yeah. He's just like, I want to look good, But all right,
that was my stupid question.
Yeah. All right, so the movie starts out like all the other movies with a phone call, but it's actually a psych out, and the call is received by like a waitress from this hip club kind of bar. And but normally it like every movie starts off with a ring and like someone answers the phone.
I know how a phone works, EJ. Yes.
Oh yeah. You have experience.
I've actually had a phone before.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So every Scream movie always starts off, and the person that answers is always the first victim. But in this case, it's not. It's a little bit of a psych out, and the camera pans over to the actual person,
Who's
Laura
dressed like
Crane.
a banana.
Yeah, she's all in white. Like,
is that white? I thought it was like a big yellow banana
dress
costume. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, it looks. I don't know. I thought it was white. Maybe it's like one of those gold blue dresses things. But no, I thought it was white, or was it?
I think it was yellow, right?
It was yellow.
It's very yellow.
Yeah.
Did you watch the movie?
Maybe I'm
You're
colorblind.
just talking about Lady Snowblood.
Wait, do you guys see things in black and white only? Or is that just me?
I noticed lately you've been turning into a dog, so I'm wondering if maybe you're just colorblind.
I thought for sure it was a white dress.
You've been
but maybe
mutating for a while now. I've been wanting to talk to you about it. You're getting
Yeah.
those long puppy ears, so maybe you are.
I mean, everyone says it's yellow here, so maybe I'm the one that's just.
And we're
a little
berating
colorblind.
you, so you must start conforming.
I conformed, and this dress was very yellow. But anyways, so we get the character Laura Crane, aka the actress is Samara Weaving, who is phenomenal, and she has previous work history with the directors on Ready or Not. Did you ever see that?
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Yeah, and cool Easter eggs in there. Did you see on like the subway train her character from Ready or Not?
Yeah.
I was like, I thought that was so cool. I was like, oh, all right, nice. But so we get Laura Crane.
I feel like Vince.
I
has
just
something
want
to
to
say.
confirm a yellow dress. So
Really?
you can have.
Yeah.
We'll hold the beratement till after.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah,
Or
you know what?
during
That
the
looks
show.
Yellow there.
Well, technically at the end it's red.
True. Okay.
She's a banana.
It looks very yellow there.
She's part banana. Let's just move on.
I don't know. Okay. So, anyways, she is a college professor, associate professor in film studies, who's currently teaching her students about slasher films and all the tropes and cliches that go with it. So she gets a call from Reggie, a guy she met on Flirter.
Well, it was a text message.
Oh, well, yeah. First it was a text, and then
there
at
was,
one
a
point he's
message.
like, "Hey, can I give you a call?" And so,
Well, the one thing I wanted to mention was that the messages that he was sending her,
Yeah.
I thought that they were probably very much like Vince's review of the film. It said, "This is embarrassing and I'm lost." Because a lot of you don't know this is that Vince had not seen Screams 2 through 5.
yeah. So last week when we were like, "Oh, we're gonna do Scream 6," Vince was like, "Okay, I saw the first one, but I didn't see any of the other ones." We're like, "Perfect." Like,
I do remember bits and pieces from the second one.
Oh,
But
okay.
It's hazy, but I definitely remember the first one. So
Yeah.
I kind of remember.
Do you remember when a guy in a white mask stabbed people?
No.
Okay,
I think
well,
we're both watching the wrong movie.
I see.
My
Maybe
guy
he
had
was
a,
in a yellow mask.
I'm watching Princess Diaries.
I was gonna say, my guy had a blue face with like a stripe through it, and he was yelling like
Yeah,
freedom and stuff.
that's the movie
Okay,
I saw.
We'll do that after.
He
Yeah.
yelled
Okay.
freedom.
Yeah, but it was a terrible, scary movie. So cliche.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, it had good parts. I tried to pick my favorite part of the movie, and you guys could. I'm sure we're gonna bounce around all over the place. But there was a scene when they're on the train, and like the ghost face is there, and he keeps moving back and forth, and it goes black, and then it gets light again and stuff. You know that I love how stuff looks, and I just love the way that looks.
Yeah.
So, I didn't really appreciate the story of the movie. I enjoyed parts of it. I thought it was okay.
So
Yeah.
to be fair, Vince's review of the film, this is embarrassing and I'm lost.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. Yeah, that's a fair assessment.
That's not too
Oh,
far.
and
out.
also when the call does come in, by the way.
Yeah.
First time I saw it, I thought that Jonah Hill did
Oh,
like a guest
he was on the
bucket.
other
Yeah,
end.
he sounded just like Jonah Hill.
Yeah.
But go on.
But yeah, no. So he ends up giving her a call because he's a little lost, and even though he picked the place, he's like, "I'm a little lost. Can you kind of tell me what the outside of the building looks like?" So he's new to the city, quotation marks, and then so is she. So she goes out. She steps outside, and he kind of ends up like getting her to go into the alleyway. Alone.
Yeah, this is actually like taken out of my playbook for dating.
Yeah, and
I
so
lure people into alleys. That was my thing.
he gets her to go down this dark alley where he like ends up popping out in a Ghostface costume,
Just like me,
and stabs her to death. And then this is what's different about this compared to like the other Scream movies is this is the first time we get to see Ghostface kind of like take the mask off.
and I go, "Oh no, it's Penis Parker."
Oh, yeah. I actually love Tony Revolori.
Me too. He's
I'm
pretty
such
good.
a huge fan.
Yeah.
He was in like the new show Willow.
Yeah.
And he was like one of the best parts of it.
But he's also the probably best known Flash Thompson in the
Yeah, in the Spider-Man
Spider-Man
movies.
the jerk in the new movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
It's not Joe Manganiello, but he's pretty good.
yeah. Actually, when they were like coming out with like the trailer, one of my theories, I was like, he's going to be one of the Ghostface killers. He has to be, because he's just such a, he's a Wes Anderson, like, favorite. Like, he's always popping up in Wes Anderson movies and stuff. So I was like, no way he's just, like, a small part of this. And then, sure enough, so it turns out to be Jason Carvey who ends up stabbing Laura Crane. And so I think the scene plays out really well. Like, I loved it.
Yeah.
And it's cool to see that early Ghostface reveal. Like,
I was
we never
kind of
got to see
hoping
that.
that's what the movie was going to be.
I thought that's what I wanted.
Yeah,
I was
me
like,
too. I was like, yeah,
I
do
want
this.
Yeah, that's how I
It was
was
so
like,
different.
yeah, just this actually know the killer for the first time
Just
and
follow
go
him
throughout the
around?
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, and you see, like, you know, them trying to figure it out, but you know who one of them is, you know? So I thought that would have been a really cool, like, if that played out that way.
Yeah.
Back to my confusion. That was part of it. Like, within 10 minutes of the movie opening, I already know who the killer is. So I was like, just the confusion of it.
Did I watch the third act? I think I watched the end of the movie.
Yeah. And so after he, like, packs up his Ghostface costume and stuff into his book bag, he's just starts to walk back towards his dorm. And that's where he runs into Tara, who invites him to a party. And he's like, oh, is your sister gonna be there? She's like, no. He's like, oh, make sure you get your sister there. It's like very like.
By the way, this isn't suspicious.
Right.
Just this is just small talk.
Could you just get your sister to be there?
And can you give me like a list of all your fears?
Yeah. And so he ends up being like, yeah, I'll catch you at the party. And so we see where he goes back to his apartment, and there's all these really awesome movie posters.
Yeah.
There. I was like,
I have at least one of them in my apartment.
Which one? Psycho?
Vertigo.
Oh, Vertigo? Yeah. There's all like Vertigo, and then on the TV they have like Friday the 13th, Jason Takes Manhattan.
Which
playing.
I'm a huge fan of that movie.
Yeah, me too. It's
I defend it to people all the time.
Yeah.
Give me that look.
Yeah.
Moving on.
No, but I'm a fan of Part 5, and
me too.
That is universally like kind of hated on.
Yeah, and it's so weird because 5 has Ethel.
Yeah.
Is that her name?
Yeah, and it's just like, and I love Reggie the Reckless.
Yeah.
He's like one of my favorite, like, Friday.
Scared of Spiders on String.
Yeah.
Such a great movie.
It's
disgusting.
underrated. Yeah.
It's disgusting looking. It feels like you're watching like. I don't know.
There's all these like cool Easter eggs in his apartment. Like he has like on his shirt, he has the Dario Argento movie and stuff, and then, but.
Can I tell you the Easter egg that I saw before you dive into your thing?
Ice Nine Kills?
Yeah, so I wanted to...
I knew it.
I wanted to tell you guys a story. I want to tell you this story. So EJ, Becca and I, we all went to this Monster Mania last year, right?
Yeah.
It was the March one. And the singer, Spencer...
Charnas. Yeah.
Spencer Charnas. He was there, and I get up to him, and I'm like... So you like horror movies, huh? He's just like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, do you ever see Cemetery Man? He's like, no. I'm like, okay, it's got her picture.
It's like, no. Well, all right. I'm done with this. Conversation's over.
Come on, little guy.
Nothing else I want to talk to you about. I don't care about your music. I just care about Cemetery Man.
I just wanted to
tell me everything you know about Cemetery Man.
Could you just like tell me a little bit more about what I want to hear?
Yeah, he's like, I have nothing for you. I had a feeling you were gonna bring that up. Like, kills. I was like, there's a little. The flyer is like this big on the refrigerator. I'm not even joking. It's
My
like
antenna went right off. I'm like, I'm telling everybody.
I was like, he's gonna bring this up. I know it. But yeah, at his apartment, Jason gets a phone call from Ghostface, and he thinks it's his roommate who's messing around. And then eventually, we got the reveal. It is not his roommate, but
were they lovers?
No, I think they were
like lovers.
No, I know they were Richie's buddies, right?
The two roommates?
Yeah.
Okay.
They seem like there was. Maybe I read it wrong.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's what I wanted to see.
Yeah, you're like, this is what I want.
I was shipping those two.
Yeah, but Jason Carvey finds out first he finds his roommate kind of dismembered in the refrigerator, and he turns around and the Ghostface, like the main antagonist of the movie, ends up killing Jason Carvey. How do you feel about that? Because I was
When
kind
he
of like
kills
a
him?
little, yeah. I was like, oh man, I kind of wanted to see that storyline play out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I actually loved like Tony Revolori. I felt like he crushed in that scene. I thought he did really awesome.
No, he was
And,
really good.
Yeah. So
He had like that perfect like creep factor going on, you know?
yeah,
made me
especially when like his conversation with Tara is like so directly like creepy.
Yeah.
In a weird way. Like she doesn't see it.
How funny
but-
would it be if he was just like, yeah, you're gonna be at the party later? She's like, you're the killer, aren't you? Like, no. I just no.
He's like stuffing the
Yeah.
ghost face mask.
Drops it on the ground. Oh my
It's on
god!
me, I swear.
This is Halloween. I'm sorry. I know it's in bad taste for anybody to wear this.
Yeah.
The body count on these movies is ridiculous.
So is there a trend like with, I remember from the first movie, you have Drew Barrymore in the first scene who dies.
Yes.
Spoilers.
So is there a trend? Well, yeah, okay, guys. So is that like,
You spoil that for everyone.
sorry guys. So like 2 through 5, like in this one, I noticed there's a very strong actor in the beginning of the movie who has a monologue.
They try to do like the Hitchcock thing with Janet Leigh.
Yeah.
Like, you know, this is your star. So you're like, I'm following the star.
Yeah.
And then they die. And then you're like, oh, okay. So I guess nobody's safe.
a la Samuel L. Jackson in Deep Blue Sea.
Scream 4.
Yeah.
Oh.
Deep Blue,
Yeah,
Did
Deep
he
Blue
die in
Sea.
Scream 4? Don't have to watch it.
No, for the most part, the last one kind of broke the mold with it because Tara, who is Jenna Ortega, she actually gets attacked in the first opening scene, but she actually survives.
So when are you going to destroy Jenna Ortega?
Well, I'm not going to destroy
get
her.
there.
Are we gonna
I
get
will.
there?
I'll,
I just want you to know I'm here to
say
defend
this.
her.
I'll say this to all you listening at home. I am not a person that takes these kind of things too seriously, but I did read this funny controversy where she was kind of like speaking ill of the writing quality on her Wednesday show and was saying that she like rewrote stuff and then all the writers were upset.
Yeah.
So I mean, I just think that's in bad taste. That's just me.
What's your source on that?
Her.
Okay.
She
Right out of her
outright
mouth.
said
Actual
it.
quotation mark. Okay, good.
Jenna Ortega is my source.
Jenna Ortega called Rory.
I know what you were going for. You were gonna try to get me, but
Fake
it
news.
didn't
How
happen.
dare you, my Jenna Ortega? Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so
I research people before I make fun of them on podcasts.
Before you try to shame them, okay. got it.
yeah. No, but it was like an article. I don't know. But it was her that was saying it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. But so we then cut over to Sam in her therapy session, and I had like crazy theories about the character, like her therapist. That maybe it was him. You know, like before I was like in the trailers, I was like, oh, maybe it's gonna be the therapist because he knows like her history. But anyways,
First day on the job, that guy.
yeah.
See, it's him with like one challenging thing. He's like, we're gonna have to stop here.
I know. Oh my god, I touch on that. I'm like, oh my god, this
So
guy.
bad at his job.
I know
He's just
so
like, so you want to tell
bad.
me? You got to open up to me, Sam. You got to open up to me, Sam. She's like, you know, my dad was a serial killer. Well, we're done here.
Yeah, he's basically like, I gotta go. Something just came up.
Asked somebody 27 times.
Yeah, but who hasn't?
Yeah. Yeah, she stabbed Richie, she says, like 22 times. She's like, yeah, I stabbed my boyfriend 22 times and then shot him in the head. And he's like, oh, I you know, something, I gotta go. I don't have the degree to cover this.
Whatever your problems are, good luck with that.
Yeah.
I can't.
Right.
I'm actually not a therapist. I've actually just been drawing pictures of horsies all day.
Yeah.
Would you like to see my horsies?
Would you like to see? I have these dolls over here in the corner.
This is
I
you.
mostly deal with kids. I'm more of like a kid therapist.
I'm more dangerous than you.
Yeah, but she ends up leaving and she heads over to the apartment and she's greeted by her roommate Quinn. What did you think of her roommate Quinn?
Quinn, I both times I watched it, I liked, there was something interesting about her delivery of her lines.
Yeah.
I liked her deliveries.
Yeah.
But she also looked like she just popped a bunch of Ambien throughout the whole movie because she's like, well, what's going on, guys?
She's like, well,
Just having
Sam's at a party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm busy having sex over here. You know?
Yeah.
That's my character.
But yeah, so Sam heads back to her apartment. She's greeted by her roommate Quinn, and Quinn tells her that Sam is actually out at the Omega Kappa Beta party which is like a reference to Scream 2.
Wasn't it Omega Beta Zeta?
Or was it? I thought
Yeah.
it was Kappa
Because they
Zeta.
say that at one point. Because I remember
Oh, Zeta? Okay.
It's a Omega Beta Zeta.
Omega Beta Zeta.
Nerd.
Yeah, you nerd.
That was actually me talking to myself.
But so Sam actually hears this and she gets pissed and she rushes out the door. There is a mention about the hot neighbor guy, which will pop up later.
Yeah, shirtless guys being objectified the entire time.
Yeah.
Hashtag cancel Sam Carpenter.
Yeah, cancel her. But at the party we see Tara.
That guy does look unstable, by the way, when you see him up
Yeah,
close.
he's just like ironing his shirt and he's just
It's
like,
wild, you know? He
Yeah.
kind of reminds me of, remember in that second Saw movie, Abby?
yeah.
Kind of reminded me of him a little bit, but just more like jacked, you know?
Yeah, and he actually that actor Josh Segarra, I think his name is.
We actually have him in the back. He's gonna be on the
He's
show.
coming out now.
Special
Come on
guest.
out, Josh. No,
Where's my money?
He was so good in Arrow. Like he was in Arrow season 5.
Okay.
And he was like the main antagonist in it, and that's why like part of me thought, oh, maybe this guy is going to be. But then a part of me was like, oh, maybe he's like Derek, where he's kind of, because a lot of this movie kind of mirrors Scream 2 in a weird way. Like a lot of like
for sure.
how the stuff all plays out, like even to the reveal of the killers. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's actually very much like Scream 2 in the way that the first 2 acts are like really strong-ish.
Yeah.
And then the third act, it just completely falls apart.
Yeah, you're like, oh, okay.
This is what it was going. Except Scream 2, I think, was better.
I think it's my favorite sequel is Scream 2.
Yeah, it's pretty darn good.
Out of all of them.
True
Scream 2
story.
is-
we
What do you think?
we skipped school when we were children. Literally cut school. Yeah, my sister and I cut school to go see Scream 2,
Yeah.
and that's why we're the way we are. We're trash.
No, you're not.
We're just
Just
nothing.
got busted.
Remember, like, we were I don't know, we were walking on the street and mom just, like, drove by.
Yeah, but she was also like was leaving Scream 2.
She was leaving Scream 2. Hey, where are you guys?
Mom,
She drives by.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Scream 2 was 1997. So how old were you when you skipped school? What grade was this? How old?
I think I was like 11,
Grade, maybe? Was it?
something like that.
Yeah.
We're 12 and 13.
12
Yeah.
and 13.
And all you
Okay.
people right now that are doing the math to see how old we are, you're a bunch of monsters.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
We'll be dead soon.
We're 30.
Not that old.
We're hard 30s, okay? But no, we
Candy's losing its flavor to us. Okay.
so at the party we get to see Tara, Mindy, Chad, and the new friends that are introduced, Ethan and Annika. Tara meets Scream's best character, Frankie.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, date rape Frankie, is that what they call him?
Yep.
You
Yep.
know, I felt bad for him because they never let him bring the drinks.
No, he's like, hey, there's more upstairs. Don't worry, my name's Frankie. Like, you're like, why is he talking like this?
Please, please, Frankie the rapist is my Halloween costume.
Yeah. Don't worry, baby. It's me, Frankie.
Frankie says relax.
But, so, for some reason, Tara's like into this guy, like total weirdo. And
Do you know why?
because he has alcohol?
No, because Jenna Ortega Beta Zeta actually rewrote this scene.
Oh yeah, she was like, you know what? I want to be in a scene.
Yeah, with the date rape.
Yeah. I think it will add to my character.
Yeah.
No, but so Tara is interested in this guy, and then Chad kind of stops them from going upstairs. He's like, "Don't worry, it's me, Frankie. I'm okay," right? And then Chad's like, "No, buddy." And then they get into like a shoving match. That's when Sam shows up, and she just like tases Frankie. She's like, "I'm gonna tase you right in your giblets." And so
Thanks for the warning.
right? And so she tases him, and people are like, "Hey, there's the Woodsboro girl," you know, and they start going, "Yeah, she's the killer," and like so they end up leaving the party, and Jenna Ortega, Tara,
Writer Jenna Ortega.
yeah, writer, actress,
Co-writer star.
she is embarrassed about the whole situation and leaves the party. So the two sisters have like this little fight outside, and out of nowhere, this girl tosses beer at Sam calling her. She's like, murderer. And I thought of like that time that happened to you once before, right?
Yeah, like
Which
I'm gonna say every
which is a
couple
classic move.
days. Yeah,
Yeah.
Sometimes when we're here, people just walk by. They're like, "You're a monster," and I'm like, "Please don't elaborate."
Please.
Please.
Don't unpack it all
There's
at
a
once.
lot of people here. We're all just trying to have a good time.
Murderer.
I know. Be cool.
I know,
Hey, you know
it's
what's
cool.
funny in my notes? So that scene you were just talking about where writer Jenna Ortega and Sam Carpenter are like yelling at each other. In
Yeah.
my notes it says melodrama spectacular
Dude.
slog.
Oh my god, it's so funny because somewhere in my notes I talk about that, how everything up to like a certain point feels like a CW drama.
It really does.
And like, you know how like most Scream
Well,
movies,
Scream 5 did that. Do you remember like that part where she's like, I found my mom's diary in the attic and she slept with Billy Loomis and he's my dad, and then my dad saw the journal and he left us, and I'm like, who wrote this?
yeah, I know it's so weird. Like
So
'cause
bad.
Most
A
Scream
13-year-old
movies,
girl?
yeah,
Jenna Ortega wrote it.
yeah. No, but like up until I think it's like we'll get to it, but there's a point where I'm like, this is not like a Scream movie. It doesn't feel like a Scream movie. It feels like a CW drama because they get into this fight and they like so we flip over to Sam, who pulls this random guy, like she's sitting in the stairway, and after they have the huge blowout, and so she pulls like this guy randomly, the neighbor, and starts making out with him. She's like, blah, blah, blah,
That's
blah.
how I tip my pizza man too.
Yeah. And then we find out she's like kind of secretly dating the neighbor on the down low, which is, I don't understand why that is like something she would
Yeah, they
want to
never
hide.
really elaborate on why she's a little bashful about.
Yeah, she's like, oh yeah, I guess I'm dating that hot guy, but like I just don't get like why she would be like hiding that. Do you know what I mean?
Because she's hurt and closed them.
Because they shot this movie
true.
in less than a year, and that's the draft they went with.
But yeah, I just felt like a lot of the weird stuff, like where Jenna Ortega and Chad were about to like make out.
Writer Jenna Ortega.
Yeah, a writer. Like they're about to make out, and like Quinn burst into the room. She's like, "Oh, sorry, I forgot my cell phone." A lot of that, like, it just felt very, I don't know, like more high school. I
honestly-
don't know. It's like weird.
What would have made it better for you?
I don't know. There's something about the pacing of this, and it just doesn't feel like
a
your
slog.
normal, typical like Scream movie. You know what I mean?
You know what it is? It's a difference between these directors, because I know there's like two of them, right?
Yeah.
And just what Wes Craven was capable of. 'Cause
Yeah.
I don't know. I know like in the horror community, Wes Craven was thought of as like it's Wes Craven. Like,
Yeah.
For us growing up, it's like, oh my god. But like he was so good at like pacing things and just knowing,
Yeah.
because there's melodrama in the original Scream.
Oh yeah.
But like he doesn't stay on it too long. Like,
Right.
He gets the right like moments out.
Yeah.
And then they go forward.
Because like so Nev Campbell, her mom is murdered, but
That's
you don't
I know
get it like
exactly.
straight, directly thrown in your face all at once. They kind of lay it out like a little
It's
by
not
little.
an exposition dump.
Right.
So Wes Craven directed what, 1
Through
2,
4.
1 through 4.
Yeah.
So what I do remember about 1 was that it had my attention the entire time. This
Right.
one, there was parts where I'm like,
Check my phone.
what's going on?
Yeah. What's going on out
Any,
there?
any memes out there?
Yeah.
I haven't seen my kids in a while.
Look at, oh yeah.
Yeah, and so she ends up making out with like her neighbor, and who she's kind of keeping it on the down low. And then we get
Red
a
Herring
yell
is his
from
name.
Chad from upstairs. He's like, "Hey, you got to see this, right?" So on the news is reporting the Jason Carvey killing.
By Woody Allen, by the way, the reporter.
Yeah.
I was looking at him like, he looked just like Woody Allen.
He did. It would be so funny if he was like talked like him and had his mannerisms and everything. But can you do this?
Crackers.
Yeah, ooh, crackers. But the news reports on Jason Carvey kind of freak out Sam, because they think it's not even like, oh yeah, this is directly a stab thing. Like they're like, oh, they found like costumes there, right? So it's kind and so she's like, we got to get out of the town tonight, right? So she is grabbing her stuff, and then Tara's like, no, I don't want to do that. Like you always like blah blah blah.
More melodrama.
Yeah, and I was thinking, I'm like, you would think Tara, who was brutally attacked the first time, would be the one that's like,
Scar in the middle of her hand.
she's like, we gotta go, and then like you just see the door flapping.
Yeah. like in a cartoon, there's like a smoke version of her with dust.
Yeah, but she's like, no, I want to stick around, and
I just want to see what happens.
yeah,
I would have enjoyed that movie because that would have only been like, what, 36 minutes?
yeah, instead of the 2 hours.
Yeah.
That this
What
was.
you should do.
But yeah, no. So it just seemed like a logical decision. Like Sam's like, well, let's leave, let's get out of here. But
Which they should have.
But a common theme in this movie is where everyone thinks Sam might be crazy, or you know what I mean? Like no one like really trusts Sam's opinions, or you don't know where she kind of lies, right? Like, don't you feel like that's what they're trying to convey to you, that like no one...
Yeah, I mean, it's like when you think back in the original movies, like Sydney,
Yeah.
a nice, respectable shot to the head, she'd put her victims down.
Yeah.
She stabbed somebody 27 times. So, like, would you trust her? I don't know.
Yeah.
Didn't you say stabbed 27 times and then shot in the head?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she just kept going.
Yeah.
She was just
She
like
just-
trying out things. She's like,
Yeah,
am I
she
into
was like-
stabbing? Nah,
she's
maybe
like,
I'm a gun.
She wanted to see how it felt.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
like, this is all right.
Yeah. It's in her blood,
Yeah.
basically.
26 more times.
Yeah. But so Quinn calls her dad, and the dad reports like, "Oh yeah, it's a pretty brutal killing. Tell Sam to come down to the station, right?" So Sam exits the building, and Tara follows her, and she's like, "I'm not leaving you."
More melodrama.
Yeah, more melodrama. And that's when they receive a phone call, and it comes up as Richie Kirsch, who is the killer from Part 5. That's for you, Vince.
Thanks.
You're welcome. So
More, this is embarrassing, and more,
So
I'm lost.
Thank you for that name, Richie Kirsch. What am I going to do with that right now?
Oh, well, you know, just so you know who's making the phone call.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Who is Quinn's father?
Detective Bailey.
Who is played by
Robert De
Dermot
Niro.
Mulrooney.
He looks a lot like Robert
who
De
is
Niro.
gorgeous.
He does. Yeah.
Good looking man.
Yeah, Dermot Mulrooney. Yeah. I've been a long time fan of his.
Yeah.
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 I loved him since like Young Guns.
Because I love credits. My Best Friend's Wedding,
Yeah.
Scream 6, Friends,
Mm-hmm.
Insidious, Shameless,
Insidious. Yeah.
New Girl, like lots of stuff.
Cop Dad.
Yeah.
Cop Dad, Dirty Grandpa. Why would he? Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No, he's great. No, he's just awesome. So, anyways, they get this phone call, and then Ghostface is kind of like taunting them a little bit, and then all of a sudden he pops out, and he chases them into a bodega.
Well, first off, before we jump into anything,
Yeah.
there's a part of me that would have sold my soul to see that, the bike that they threw into him. And
Yeah.
you hear it go ding ding.
Yeah.
Like you literally do. I would have killed to see Ghostface jump on it and start pedaling after them. There's 2 things that I would have killed to have happened. That's one of them. Number 2 is when she gets the call. Right?
Yeah.
And then she gets another call, but it's Mrs. Ghostface.
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing talking to my husband? It sounds just like Ghostface. There's like no difference.
Slightly higher.
Yeah. But
We'll get back to Mrs. Ghostface.
so they get chased to the bodega, and my favorite line in this movie is actually the guy that's like, "There's a line here, girls," right? And it's just like, they're like, help us, and he's just
This
like,
is New York. It's very orderly and respectful here.
So he's just like, "There's a line here, girls," and I don't know why that made me laugh so hard. Just because you have these 2 people asking to call 911, they're getting chased, and he's just concerned about the order.
Can we just keep the line?
I was next. I was
the
next.
things I see behind the line terrify me.
But so as soon as he says that line, in walks Ghostface. And the guy, that same guy, walks up to Ghostface, like, "You got a problem here, guy?" Right? And then
Because you're not going to cut this line.
because He's the gatekeeper of this line.
This is my line.
This bodega, this guy, all he cares about his whole life was about order and this line.
Defending this line.
And so he gets stabbed, and then there's this cool.
Died doing what he loves.
He died
Defending
doing
the line.
what he
Yeah.
loved. He put his life on the line.
Oh,
Yes.
Should I bow? No.
drop that mic.
All right, guys, that was the episode. We're done for the night.
There's literally nowhere else we can go.
But so Ghostface ends up taking out him, and then he takes out the bodega shop guy with his own gun, like he has a shotgun. So they barely escape. Like they are able to push a candy rack onto Ghostface and run out the door. The police show up.
Well, two things. Number one, this is me being serious. Ghostface with a gun is both kind of badass, but also very unsettling.
Yeah.
Because it's like when he's with the knife, movie. When he's holding the gun, I'm like, oh, too real.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
something very like real
Off-putting
worldy about it.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I mean, it's great for the movie. But I remember seeing that in the trailer and being like, oh, we're going here now.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that? Explain that further, please.
What's that?
That with a gun making it feel too real.
Because like there's something very in the world that we live in right now, everybody's shooting everybody. It's the wild, wild west.
I hadn't heard. What's going on in the world?
Well, you wake up on a Tuesday and it happened.
Okay.
And then on Wednesday,
It happened.
Same
again.
thing. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But they give us Thursday to catch our breath.
Yeah.
Friday, they make up for it.
Yeah.
So the other thing in my notes about the bodega, which I really enjoy, is that there's another part of me would have sold my soul to just see Ghostface take a moment for a breather, cracked open a beer, just like,
Oh yeah.
I think they escaped. But, I'm running around. It's a lot on me.
Yeah. He's just like taking a sip. He's like
like,
cracking open.
Oh, look at this. There's some Twinkies. I can just
Oh.
take these. I've already crossed the line.
You know, this is my cheat day. Might as well.
He sticks it in that wide mouth.
It's okay. It's Tuesday.
Mrs. Ghostface isn't going to catch me.
Yeah.
I told you we're coming back to Mrs. Ghostface.
But yeah, so they run out the door. The police are there, and then they're taken downtown. Well, I don't know if it's downtown, but they're in the police station where Quinn's dad, the detective, is assigned to the Ghostface case and begins to ask them questions, kind of like throwing a little bit of like shade that they're kind of behind it, right? Like, again, like playing into Sam has that history, and how do we know that Sam isn't part of it? Like us, the audience, we know, like we've seen it all, right? But everyone else in that world is kind of questioning Sam, if she is a killer or not. You
Because
know?
you stabbed somebody 27 times
Right.
in shopping. But yeah, go on.
But so
Kind of with what you were saying is, I didn't understand how there's a part of the movie where Courtney Cox's character brings them to something, and
Yeah.
the police are like,
How?
how did you figure this out?
Yeah.
I'm so
Wow.
proud of you. Look at,
Yeah, yeah. Look at
this.
this. Yeah.
We have hundreds of people in our department, but you did it all by yourself.
Well, I started off by just reading the script.
Well,
Yeah.
And then I knew what to do.
But yeah, they end up kind of meeting Kirby.
Mm-hmm.
They bring Kirby in, who is now FBI, and she has a special interest in Ghostface killings.
Who's Kirby played by?
So Kirby is Hayden Panettiere. She was on, the cheerleader from Heroes. Yep.
Fantastic. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I had to get that in because
Yeah. And she plays Kirby and
Calm down, Vince.
tell us how you really feel.
All right, this story makes no sense, but I remember there was an
sweating.
episode of Heroes where she goes. It was like a in episode plug of something, and it was a Nissan Rogue.
Yeah.
So, and there was an episode where she was like, "Oh my, Dad, you're giving me the Rogue," and one of the first cars me and my wife bought were a Rogue. So for full entire year. You're giving me the Rogue. Every time that we would want to drive it, we would just go back and forth.
You're giving me the Rogue?
Yeah, Hayden Panettiere. She was fantastic.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I thought she was great. She was one of my favorite parts of the movie.
Yeah, so and
Did
like you kind of find
that
out.
Scene?
It was okay. I mean, like, it's cool. Her character is a fan favorite, so she is in part 4. They kind of leave it up in the air, like if she lives or
carries over
yeah,
to where we are now.
She's not in 5 at all, so it goes forward to 6.
There's a little Easter egg of her though, because she's just like the thing on the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Like, I forget what it is.
Part 5, they kind of mention like Survivor Kirby Reed or whatever. You know.
I think it was uploaded by Vince.
yeah.
And again, guys, you could stop explaining the previous sequels because I'm never gonna watch them.
Oh, okay, good.
Well, so next
Kirby
week's
Reed-
episode,
Yeah.
Scream 5.
Scream. We're gonna just do all the screams now.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, that scene though, just to kind of get us back on track.
Yeah.
I was just curious if you liked it or not because I did some research and I saw that Jenna Ortega rewrote the scene uncredited,
Oh wow.
but then credited herself for her own rewrites. So.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Jenna Ortega, if you'd ever like to be on the podcast, I just want to let you know you can be.
His
Yeah.
phone number is 570.
Yeah.
Slow down there, Vince.
Slow down.
Beep, beep, beep. EJ,
Rory just
I'll-
gets all this hate mail.
EJ, I'll give like 2 seconds of talking so you can continue to look for
Oh,
where you
okay,
were
yeah.
because me and Rory have now derailed you 3 or 4 times. So hopefully you can get back. And I'm done talking now. And he's
Oh
still
yeah.
there. It is.
So Kirby ends up being interested in this case because she was following the movements of Jason Carvey and his roommate, and she's from the Atlanta division, and so she came up to New York because of everything that just happened, you know. So that murder was announced pretty much maybe like an hour beforehand, so she got there pretty quick to that police station. Pretty interesting.
Yeah.
To think about the timeline, it's like, you know what I mean? Like they are, that night is literally when the murder happens. It's announced on the news, and
Yeah, I guess she does get there pretty quick.
yeah.
I guess it would have been more interesting if they put a scene in there where she was just on an airplane. She was just like reading a newspaper.
Yeah,
Go
and then
Space.
it's just like, yeah. But so Jenna Ortega gets there, and I mean Kirby Reed, and so we find out that Kirby and Sam went to the same high school. Like she was a senior when Sam was a freshman.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Yeah, and so anyways, they know her from school, and it's kind of like I guess like a happy reunion in a weird way. So
You know, it's like they said that they had to rewrite the script because Nev Campbell bailed out.
yeah,
Didn't that seem like that scene was probably written with Nev Campbell in mind?
Yeah,
They're
probably.
probably like, oh my God, Kirby. But instead it's like, hi, Sam.
yeah.
You were in this movie?
Remember me from high school?
No, there's a lot of people in our high school.
Yeah,
Not everybody knows every single person in high
not
school.
quite. Yeah. So
I think I used to make fun of you behind your back.
yeah.
Nice
So-
to meet you.
They leave the station, and that's when they come across Gail outside, who it has that like just pure Gail Weathers vibe.
Lights the movie up.
Yeah, she really does. Like,
She's like the best thing in the movie for me.
yeah, and it's a kind of a shame because she's so like
Underutilized.
4th tier in this. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it's not like normally she's like the carries the movies.
I think whenever she like shows up in this movie, it's like an adrenaline shot.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So,
I think she's gonna make it in Hollywood.
oh, you think so?
Cops, I think she's gonna figure it out.
But yeah, so they come across her and they're pissed at her because she ended up writing a book, kind of like throwing Sam under the bus a little bit.
Like, you said I was unstable. I mean, I only stabbed somebody 27 times and shot them in the head.
Yeah.
She's like, well, I think it was warranted.
Yeah, I think it was warranted. But it's great. We get the classic where she gets the punch in the face. With all the way back from the first movie, that's how she always gets a punch in the face, basically.
Which no bruising afterwards, by the way. I'd like
Right.
to point
Oh
that
yeah,
out. No,
she looked great.
looked
Like
fantastic.
still,
Yeah.
held it
when
together.
they're back in the apartment, she's glowing.
Yeah,
not a
she's-
mark on her.
So
No
what you're
bloody
saying
lip.
is that Jenna Ortega can't throw a punch. Is that what you're saying?
Well, she wrote.
Vince,
in
get
the-
off her back.
In the original script, there was a good punch, but then she rewrote it to be not as devastating as that
I don't want
one.
to go too hard
Yeah.
on her.
So after they have this encounter, it cuts over to Dr. Stone, aka Sam's therapist, who is awful. And
fantastic.
yeah, and Ghostface, he stops
Michael
by.
Myers is your 9 o'clock.
He's like, who keeps sending them over here?
I don't know
Stop sending them over here.
I don't know why I do it, Doug.
But so Dr. Stone gets a visit from Ghostface, who stops by to pick up a couple files. He doesn't have a fax. So,
Well, yeah, it's funny to me. I just thought it was an interesting line when he knocks on the door and he's like, I'm here for my session.
yeah, here for my session.
I don't want to keep doing this.
But so now we cut to probably my favorite scene of the movie, and it felt very much like a Scream scene.
Oh, no, I think you and I had very different
Is
feelings
it?
on this.
Is it really?
Go on, sir.
Okay,
Lead the
so-
way.
So now we cut to the scene where it's like probably my second favorite scene, but where Nick Cave, they play Red Right Hand, which is
Always
awesome,
great.
always awesome, and
That I enjoyed. That I remembered from the first one.
yeah, and so right there it sets the tone, and we have where Mindy discusses like the new rules for sequels
Is
and
this your favorite
requels.
part?
It's one of my favorite.
Okay,
parts.
so
yeah.
you tell me your feelings and I'll tell you mine.
Okay, no, so basically, it just felt like a Scream movie at that point because it's always like that Randy, bringing that Randy vibe to it. So that's what I liked about it, and it kind of plays out like a familiar thing, like in the theme throughout the Scream movies. So because we didn't really get that in part like 5.
Kind of do it.
Oh no, you know what they do?
Yeah,
and Randy's
home theater.
yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. But I did like it, but it is kind of I don't know. What did you think?
I wrote, the pseudo Randy Meek scene makes me embarrassed to be a part of the human race. Just awful.
Okay, so we definitely saw differently.
But Rory, how do you really feel about the scene?
Oh, it's
Yeah,
so
how do you
bad.
really? Yeah, so you hated it?
No, she did, that actress. It's like she didn't know what to do with her energy. It was like sometimes it was so big. And
Yeah.
Is this Mindy?
Yeah, Mindy.
Jamie Kennedy.
I thought
just,
she was great in that.
Yeah,
I thought
that's
she
what
was
I thought
the
too.
perfect. I thought she
Out of the new characters, Mindy is probably my favorite one.
she was probably my favorite through
Yeah.
the movie.
I liked Guy across the.
Oh
the
yeah,
hallway.
Of course
I
you
loved him
loved
too.
Guy across
Yeah.
the hall.
Yeah, he was
Who
just
didn't love Guy?
stunning, yeah.
There wasn't one person, maybe Chad, but like everybody in this movie basically was in on Danny from across the hall.
Yeah, he's all right.
Yeah, he's all right. He's not too bad. So, meanwhile, at the station, Kirby and Quinn's dad.
I like the actress, by the way.
Oh yeah,
I just
she's-
felt like this scene was just like a little too.
To go back to like
kilter.
what,
Oh, that
like 2
scene?
seconds ago.
Yeah.
The fact that she throws the word franchise out there, I thought was awesome.
Oh yeah,
Because
she's
it's
like a continuing
that's-
franchise.
and,
Yeah.
and again, it's that fourth wall, which one of those things that I always love in a movie when you're breaking
Yeah.
the fourth wall is like, hey, everybody shut up. We're going to explain what's going on here and what's going to progress.
Hey,
Go
Yeah.
moving
Vince,
further.
you know how
Yeah.
you know you'd really like the other 5 movies that did the exact same thing. This is nothing new.
But then this goes back to my original point. If it's the same thing over and over,
Yeah.
why? Why keep watching them? Do you want to? Are you because there's little things here and there that are new, or I don't get that because you're saying that a lot of this is formulaic, but
Yeah.
you still, if there was Scream 7, 8, 9, 10, I'm gonna guarantee you guys are gonna go see that.
Oh, 100%.
for sure.
So then, if it's so formulaic, why do you enjoy it so much?
I didn't like 5 at all, and I literally showed up for 6 opening night.
Well, okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
I'll watch.
I actually like 5 more than 6 in a weird way.
Can though? Like I'll say this.
Yeah.
For all that we're like sometimes ragging on this movie, I don't hate any of these movies. Like I
Yeah.
like all this. Even like people don't really love 3. Like
No.
I like them all to varying degrees.
Yeah.
So this is like us just having fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like, and I
that's
don't.
fine.
I would say watch any of them. They're all.
Yeah, they're
lots
all
of
tight.
fun.
Like, they're all
It's-
good.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think we've agreed that all of the Mission Impossibles are spot on. And it's
Amazing.
just a franchise
Yeah.
that you
and
enjoy.
just getting better.
Yeah.
I love the stupidness of Fast and the Furious franchise.
Yeah.
Never saw one.
Really?
Never.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sober.
We should,
Okay.
we should do it.
Well, how's that rock?
And not on drugs.
You know what?
Okay.
I think it would be hilarious that our next movie that we do is Fast X. So you have no previous knowledge of any of the Fast and Furiouses.
You know, when the shoe's on the other foot, I guess
It's
it isn't
not
as
as-
fun, right? Yeah.
And could I also point out that they really missed the boat on calling it Fasten Your Seatbelt?
Yeah. Fasten your seatbelt.
What are you doing?
What?
Who's in the marketing department
Vince,
over there?
why aren't you working?
that's-
Universal, call
My
this
side
man.
note, Okay.
It's even on like that Scream 5 thing. Why wasn't that like Scream with the
Screams.
5
Yeah.
for the S? Why wasn't that a thing?
I don't know. Maybe because they were nervous. It's,
Fasten your seatbelt.
it's like 5 cream, I guess.
What I just said?
Yeah. But fasten your seatbelts. Loved it. But yeah, no, so we cut to the next scene,
So good.
which is Detective
EJ,
Bailey.
I love the fact that we can derail you like completely, and you just go right back to your notes.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
it's impressive.
Really? Thank you. I guess I'm
enjoy
used to it.
No, I just want to call you out on it. It's
yeah.
really good at what you do.
Oh, thank you.
You
Thanks.
look great doing it.
Oh, stop.
I wasn't going to mention that.
Yeah, I decided to go shirtless for the podcast today.
Well, Rory
So,
promised no pants, and he came through. So
Yeah. Oh,
did.
yeah. He did.
EJ and I together have a complete outfit.
Right.
you're like Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck.
Yeah. He's Mickey Mousing. Oh, no, I'm Mickey Mousing. You're Donald. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
can we just all admit that Winnie the Poohing there's nothing more unattractive than the Winnie the Pooh look? Shirt, no pants, no nothing.
Yeah.
Have you ever looked at yourself that way? It's not.
I've never,
All right,
I never
just
tried
I'm
it.
just gonna say I challenge you next
Just-
time. Just look at yourself.
gonna start
in the mirror
sleeping that way.
in just a shirt.
Vince,
Yeah.
remember when
It's not good, dude.
Vince, remember when I
No
disappeared?
one looks good that way. Not even Brad Pitt. I'm telling you.
Vince, remember when I disappeared into the bathroom before?
Yes.
Totally did that.
Okay.
Totally
And
looked in
how
the
did you
mirror.
look? You looked great. All right, Roy.
Yeah.
Sorry, EJ. Back
yeah.
to you.
So,
us derailing you. Go ahead.
Back to the station. Kirby and Detective Quinn are discussing the case so far, going over the previous Ghostface killers. A quick recap for anyone who only watched the first movie and then this one, Vince. This was purely just for Vince, this scene. Just to be like, oh, here's all the killers from before. And then we found the mask here. And so,
Which, by the way, that part right there, it
Yeah.
started to kind of give me like the later like Saw sequels vibe.
yeah.
Because remember how they would do
Definitely.
that? They would like try to make everything kind of connect.
Connect,
It's
yeah.
kinda fun.
Yeah, I
I like
actually like
seeing
that.
them all on the board. Even Roman, you know.
Yeah,
Roman
and they
doesn't
gave
get
a
enough
shout
love.
out, like a cool shout out to Roman,
Yeah.
too.
It's funny because we're like watching Scrubs right now for the.
Oh, are you?
For like the
Oh.
15th time.
Yeah,
And it was funny because we were watching that season where Elliot was dating Roman. So
yeah.
I was like, man, he's it's a beautiful.
Because he
man.
was like he's like into like exploring and stuff, right?
Yeah. No, he worked at
mountain
SeaWorld.
climbing. Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Oh, who's the guy that it was like into mountain climbing?
Keith.
Keith. Okay. All right.
But
That's
anyway.
totally. Anyways, back at Sam's apartment, all the kids are hanging out, and Danny, actually, who's Sam's secret boyfriend guy across the hall, he actually spots Ghostface in Quinn's room and starts to try to like get their attention, but they're not paying attention to him.
With the
but
is this the ladder scene where he tries to get them across?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So Danny is like trying to like wave at them through the window, and like the core four are like, like,
I did like the idea of the core four.
Yeah, that's what I was like. Okay, all right, okay, good core for it. All right. And then so Danny's like trying to get their attention, and yeah, so Ghostface like pops out of the door. Quinn falls to the ground, and then Ghostface stabs Annika right in the abdomen. I think Jenna Ortega and Chad just run out the hallway. They just like leave their friends.
Cowardly.
Yeah, cowardly.
I gotta get the hell out, and then
Jenna Ortega wrote that scene.
She did. She's like, my character's making it into 7.
But everybody else kind of gets to like the one bedroom, and they are able to lock Ghostface out, and they push like a dresser against the door.
and I'm assuming this is a horror movie thing. There's multiple things in the room, but they pick one dresser and then they stop there.
Yeah. That's
there's
enough.
a bed. There's
Yeah.
probably chairs. There's things that you can like wedge
Just
against
keep
the wall
throwing.
to keep people there.
Yeah.
Just keep piling stuff on top. Because even if they do get through the door and they open the door, then they have to climb over the bed that you've thrown over,
Yeah.
the mattress, and all that stuff. But no. Just stop
Yeah.
at one dresser.
I think it's
the
for the
best-
set director.
is
Decorator.
Trying to lighten their load.
Yeah.
The absolute best version of that ever was a Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein.
Oh,
Do you
yeah.
remember that?
Yes.
Door
I-
just opens the other way.
Yeah, it's just like, it's so good. But yeah, so they're stacking everything against the door, and that's when Danny kind of throws the ladder into he kind of shuffles it over to the other window, and they start climbing over.
Wait, hold on a second. I got things to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. So
Where did he get the comically long ladder?
why does he have a ladder that long
Right
in his
next to the
apartment?
window.
Right next to the window.
I have a theory. Maybe he used
should
it
stop
to
drinking.
climb into Dawson Leary's bedroom.
Ooh, Kevin Williamson, call back. Scream, get back. Scream, Dawson's Creek, Kevin Williamson.
Yeah, and now
Perfect reference.
he's climbing. He uses that to get into Sam's room. Maybe.
Maybe that's how they get back and forth.
Baby, I
Yeah.
just bought a long ladder. Spice up
Yeah.
this relationship. He's like, where did you get that?
Yeah.
Did you get it from the Acme shop?
He's like,
The Wile E. Coyote selling you that?
he's like,
She's like, I mean, it's stupid, but boy, is it useful.
but yeah, so each of them start climbing over this ladder, and unfortunately,
Of course, the last person in the room
gets it.
And,
Yeah.
It's
So
just-
poor Annika, she ends up getting maybe halfway over, and Ghostface gets into the room, and then he just tips it.
he shakes it
did
for
not see that coming.
he shakes
Yeah.
it for a
Yeah.
while instead of just tipping it immediately.
He's a showman.
Yeah.
He's a showman.
He doesn't
Yeah,
want.
he's doing it. And he's like,
By the way, there was a missed opportunity from Ghostface. When she falls, she hits her head off a dumpster. Mandy should have looked down, or Ghostface, and said, "You're dumped."
oh, see,
I thought you'd have gone heads up. 'Cause
missed
she bashed her head.
opportunity.
Head in the dumpster. I got it.
Yeah.
Take my horrible puns.
Okay, I'll take him.
But what did you guys think of the ladder sequence?
Oh, it's great. I thought it was really effective.
suspenseful.
Yeah.
I knew
Yeah.
it was coming, but I enjoyed it.
No,
Yeah,
it's,
that's
it's
what I mean.
Really, this movie, when it gets into their little set pieces,
Yeah.
it really it connects, man. It's really really good stuff.
Yeah.
It's just whenever anyone's talking that I'm like, oh, ambient.
Oh,
Jesus.
boy.
I'm
Yeah.
awake.
Yeah. No, I thought it was suspenseful, fun. The whole sequence.
Playful.
Definitely
what emoji
solid.
would you give that scene?
Oh, I'll talk about emojis. I got my emojis for the end.
Okay.
Which ones I'm going
You
with?
got my emojis, right?
Oh yeah. so the ladder sequence was I really enjoyed it. So it kind of cuts to the next day, and Ethan shows up, and everyone is suspecting Ethan. They're like, "Where were you, man?" And he was like, "I was in econ," which is a solid excuse. I think
He's like, ask anyone, but don't really ask anyone.
Yeah.
Seriously,
There was 100 people
Don't
there.
ask anyone.
Yeah. I was in econ. He says it 3 times. He's like,
Econ.
Econ,
The
guys.
class I'm taking, right?
I hear you question.
You guys all
Econ?
remember I'm taking econ, right?
You know what that's short for, right? He's just you guys get it, right?
You know Stacy?
Yeah.
She sits next to me in econ.
Econ, guys.
You don't know who Stacy is, do you?
But we find out that Quinn, her dad's all upset, and even Danny is like, "Hey, don't trust anyone, not even your friends," because Sam says, someone took the knives. I went to defend us, hoping to stab Ghostface probably 22, 27 times.
At minimum.
At minimum. And she's like,
He's a 29er.
but someone took our knives. He's a 29.
What's the math on that? So, if you want to shoot him 2 times, how many stabs? Because you're gonna stab 27 and then shoot once.
Sulfur X.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sulfur
sulfur
X
X.
on the y-axis.
Yeah, gun is X,
Okay,
and then
got it.
yeah. So then we get where Gil Weathers shows up, and she's like, "Guys, I found something, and all of us should go." So everyone,
excitement for this film.
yeah, she's like, "Oh yeah, I found this," and so they go to this kind of like warehouse, not a warehouse, but old movie theater.
I was gonna say I thought it was a theater.
Yeah, it's a movie theater. And inside is kind of like a shrine to all the previous Scream movies. They have like all the different Ghostface costumes, and then actually like outfits from each of the victims and different props and stuff.
So I would like to say that was one of my favorite parts of the movie. Was there's like a shot of like, I don't know if there's like a curtain opening that where you can see everything, but it's like a super wide view and everything's like lined up on a stage or something like that.
Yeah.
Which with the costumes or what.
Yeah.
I thought that was like just cinematically, just as far as like a director of photography, that was a cool shot.
Yeah.
Just to see all of that and then the old theater and I thought that was really cool.
You know, it was weird when I saw that in the theater for the first time. I got so like giddy about
this-
it.
Yeah.
I got really excited just because
This was in the theater. This wasn't straight to DVD.
No, it was
Oh,
in theaters.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'll
Yeah.
believe you.
It actually did really well
It's
too.
actually a
like-
Disney Plus original.
yeah.
Go ahead, now I got to look up how much it made.
Yeah. It did
a
really
lot.
well.
It's really good. It's weird because I saw that scene in the theater and I got really excited, and then the ending really disappointed me because I felt like that shrine deserved to go to a more connected character. Like that
Yeah.
should have had more of an impact because that was a legacy thing,
Yeah,
and they just gave it to 3 people who cares.
yeah.
Yeah.
To date, May 4th, 2023, they have 108 million.
Yeah. And
Now for slasher bucks, that's a lot of money.
yeah, slasher bucks. That's good. I like that. we should
welcome.
use slasher bucks.
Slasher bucks.
That's how we should rate movies.
Oh,
Yeah.
By the way, my notes. Chad
Yeah.
is dressed like Cotton in Scream 2.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? 'Cause
Yeah.
yeah. Scream
That's
2.
really
I
good.
know you were just doing a thing there, but I misquoted. 108 million United States, 168 million worldwide.
Wow.
That's a lot more slasher bucks.
That's a lot of slasher bucks. But yeah, no, I thought so my theory going into the movie is that it was going to be someone that has the shrine, right? That was a collector, like someone who loved something about like I did a whole YouTube thing about this, right? Where the shrine was someone who was a collector, but the collection just wasn't enough that they had to put themselves into it. So in a weird way, I was like right about it, but I thought it was going to be the therapist. You know what I mean? Like who was like maybe collecting, like he was Stu's therapist way back in the day and started collecting and then eventually wanted to put himself into that world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think you and I actually have a common thing for what I thought it was. So,
Yeah.
this is a little off track. I apologize. The original version of Scream 3 was supposed to be the killer was Stu. Stu had
Right.
survived and he was like in prison.
Yeah.
So they even make a little reference to it where she's like, oh, like the TV that killed Stu Macher. And it's like, if you believe he's dead. There's this whole like thing floating around out in the world that Stu's still alive. So
Right.
to me, what I thought would have been really neat is if when they pull that trigger, and they will
Yeah.
at some point, because why wouldn't you? I thought that it was supposed to be like a thing where this was like Stu's life's work. Like
Yeah.
me and Billy did this thing, and this is what it all turned into. It's like our franchise. So then it's like, why is Ghostface so interested in Sam? And it's like, I want you to be my partner, like your dad used to be. And I'm like, that would have really made that hit hard.
Yeah.
And I know they're gonna pull him back into these movies at
Oh,
some point.
100%,
And it's
yeah.
gonna be wasted. Like
I
that was
know.
the perfect way to do it. So it's like, look what I did. Like my life's work is like all this horrible shit.
yeah. No, I thought that was yeah. So it was like weird, and I because what it definitely did was kind of solidify a character from Part 5. I would just say that, like the legacy of his character by having who we find out the killers are, but also that it was him all along. It kind of like made his character a little more important than it already was.
Bless you, Becca.
Does that make sense?
It does. I know what you mean, but it just didn't.
Yeah,
feel
I
like
think they
he
were trying to
deserved it.
solidify his importance more.
I think Nev Campbell leaving Scream 6 caused a bunch of rewrites.
Yeah.
I think they were going somewhere else with that.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
So they end up devising a plan. Like Detective Bailey devises a plan to catch Ghostface in the park, because Ghostface always loves to feed the ducks there, I guess. He
yeah.
just always hangs out in the park.
Ghostface does that?
Yeah.
And then also broad daylight too.
Yeah, like they're like, oh, we'll set something up in the
course
park.
I'll be there.
We'll catch him because Ghostface is always hanging out there. I
Would you
guess.
love a shot of him just sitting there
He's
feeding
just sitting
ducks?
there,
Ducks.
ripping bread and like throwing it
You
to.
hear that Dust in the Wind song playing? It's like, my life's not all violence. There's a lot of sadness, too.
And the weird thing about the park too, I don't know if you noticed, but people are randomly wearing like bunny ears, funny wizard hats, and I'm not even making this up. Like, go back and watch that scene.
Yeah, welcome to 2023, EJ.
Funny wizard hats. A person's wearing like a clown mask, and I'm like, no one even like it's Halloween. I get it. Like like throughout the movie we see the Halloween party, but no one's like going to a park and they're like, I'm gonna wear my costume there. And they're just hanging out at the park. It's not like they're out like walking through to get somewhere. They're just literally wearing random, like they're walking through and they have like bunny ears.
Do you think it was like they didn't have any extras for that day, so they just had like the producers and stuff like put mask on? Just
Yeah,
walk to the
but
park.
yeah, just go over
Oh,
there.
Christ, we forgot to get people.
Yeah.
It's COVID.
But that's when they receive a call. So Sam and Tara are kind of like the bait, and they're walking around this park, and that's when they get a call from Ghostface, who drops the hint that he's actually all the way uptown at Gail's apartment. So they steal a cop car, Detective Bailey's car.
Which is just like, what are you doing?
What?
She
Yeah.
she's not going to mind.
What's that?
I don't think she's going to mind that they took her car because everybody's on the same page in this movie,
Yeah,
I feel.
well, that's true. But yeah, Detective like Dermot Mulroney is like, "Hey, get out of my car! Like, get out of there!" Right? And then they're like, "Let's go." And then she's like, "Are you gonna put the sirens on?" She's like, "Hell yeah!" And I'm like, "What is this
Is
right
this like
now?"
a buddy cop movie?
Like, what is that?
You gonna put the sirens on, partner? One last ride.
One last ride.
So stupid.
I actually did not care for that part. But Gail gets a call from Ghostface, who kills her boyfriend, right? I guess that's who he is. They
and
never
honestly, in my notes, literally, no stupid jokes. It's just this Gale scene is my favorite scene in the entire film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It felt like the other movies too, and I don't think it's just her, but it just the way that it all plays out. It feels like a Scream movie.
Yes.
It's not just that. It's just that like, this movie kind of helps me understand what I'm feeling. Some of my more negative thoughts about let's just say the last two movies.
What is that like feeling?
Oh, it's not something I recommend. That's why I drink myself until I pass out. No, with Gail, the thing is, like, I feel like she's like a legitimate character, and you have all this history with her. And Courtney Cox is like can act circles around all these kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
And like, I just feel like since I care so much about her character, it was like kind of like it just made me feel anxious that you might possibly lose her, because that's the thing now with franchises, that they're like,
They're
just
going
going
to
to
kill off one of those.
legacy characters, and they kill
Yeah.
them, and it's just like, I mean, last movie we lost Dewey, which is a huge bummer.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, spoilers.
Yeah. Spoiler alert.
But like that whole scene was so exciting because I just cared about what was going on. So
All right, I'm never going to watch it. How did they kill Dewey?
stabbed him.
Stabbed.
20, how many?
No,
20.
they kind of like stab him in the front and the
Kinda
back,
gut
and
him
then
up
they
a
go.
little bit, yeah.
And
Oh,
they
twice.
Yeah.
Oh, kebab. They
Yeah,
kebabbed him.
pretty much kebab him. Yeah.
That's a good way to go
Dewey
out.
should have died trying to save Gale, by the way, but that's just my own.
I know. I was bummed out because he's hands down my favorite character, but at the same time, that was him. He was always like the protector. Also, it was the way to get Nev Campbell to come back. Like, she was not going to come back to Woodsboro any other way.
Arguably, though, they could have done that in a way where it mattered more, because he
Yeah.
doesn't die saving people. He saves them, and then he goes back. I think what should have probably happened was that Gale should have showed up in the hospital, and then it's just like, it jumps at her, and he saves her. No, meaning that, like, Dewey's character, as he said, he's a protector, and like he like loves Gale. Like, that's like, I mean, he spent like 4 other movies putting himself on the line to save her, to save Sid. So he should have died saving one of them. It would have been more in line with his character. But some of the decisions made in movies today, it's like I don't I don't know. I have a lot
Yeah. Well, I like to think of like Star Wars. They get everybody to come back, and then they just kill all of them.
Yeah, it's just like,
It's just like, oh,
Hey, you like this guy?
you
Dead.
remember how much you love Luke Skywalker?
Dead.
Gone.
wait till you see what we do to Indiana Jones.
Yeah, but yeah. So, the scene plays out, and so Gale has this confrontation with Ghostface. They're talking back and forth on the phone. He pops out. He eventually attacks her. She pulls out a gun, and they go toe to toe. And eventually, she gets stabbed. And you think that might be it for Gale. I actually was like, oh man, that sucks because I love Gale, and I thought that was it. Like I actually thought she was.
As soon as she said some line, it was like, tell Sydney he didn't like that line. As soon as I heard, I'm like, oh, she's done.
Yeah, I thought that was. Yeah, I legit was like, that is like that would be something Gale would say
Right.
as she's dying.
Yeah.
You know, like he didn't get me. Like
But
he
you
didn't.
know what?
She had a Freddie pulse. I was like, thank God.
Yeah,
Thank God though that she didn't die.
yeah. So
We got plenty of movies to make.
and look, yeah. So luckily,
40 more
Sam
Scream
and Tara get there just in time to like save Gale and the
By the way,
EMTs
before
and
they
stuff.
got there, before she gets stabbed and she's like star 6ix it or whatever.
Yeah,
That's the best.
that was
thing.
so good.
Before I wanted to get back to that. That was
Yeah.
my favorite part of the whole movie.
'Cause
He's
it's-
like, hold on a second. He's like, wait.
Huh?
what?
Yeah, he just.
What? It's like in the original Star Wars when
Yeah.
when Han shows back up and Bear's like, huh?
Huh? Yeah, it's so good.
Before they figured his character out.
Favorite part of the whole movie.
But yeah, and Ghostface, like when he like responds to, he's just like, huh?
Yeah.
You know, it's so good.
That's my favorite moment of the movie. It's so good.
But yeah, they get there just in time with the EMTs and stuff, and like you know, Caitlin said, one of the EMTs is like, oh, that she has a pulse, like yeah. So after this happens, the crew make a plan to the Core Four with Danny, who's not part of the Core Four. They like Chad's like, no, you're not in this. He's like, okay.
Get out of here, fake Evan Peters.
It's like, all right, whatever, man.
Go back to your murder house.
I was gonna say, is this the point in the movie where they tell
Like,
shirtless
who's
boy
he
Wonder?
reminding me of until you said
No.
that?
Yeah,
No way.
yeah, that's exactly. He's like, hey, Core 4, what's that? And they're like, no, don't, you're not in it. And he's like, okay, whatever.
You know, I was gonna talk my dad out of killing you guys, but you're the worst. Those entitled brats just stole a police car. You guys are shutting me out.
So
done.
they make this plan to catch Ghostface in the lair. Like, they're gonna get him to show up there and then trap him inside and make like a kill box so they could slay him. So the crew jumps on the subway train over to wherever that lair is, like that movie theater.
It's an IP bukkake.
It is. I really like all the like.
Explain that for the listeners at home,
So
please.
there's all these different references
So, EJ,
to
what's
horror
going on?
movies. Yeah, so you have like Us on there, the Babadook, all these Halloween costumes. Ready or Not. There's Hellraiser, Nightmare on Elm Street, Jason Takes Manhattan. Am I missing?
dude
Oh,
from-
Rocky Horror.
Both that the aged Michael Myers mask. The
Yeah,
original
Michael Myers.
mask.
Yep. Yeah.
The dude from Scream.
Yep, dude from Scream. David Bowie. There's a Aladdin saying David Bowie walking around.
Oh yeah.
And
Those,
but yeah,
what was that? Those characters from the Jordan Peele movie.
Us. Yeah,
they're
Yep,
there.
Yep. The tethering or whatever. Yeah. I think
Jenna
that's what they're
Ortega
called.
was there too, wasn't
Jenna
she?
Ortega from Scream 5.
Yeah, she was
she
dressed
was
up
there.
as her. Wednesday Addams was there.
Yeah. But yeah, so the movie they get on the subway, but Mindy and Ethan
Get split up.
Get split up, of course.
I don't like these movies, but I really thought, again, just the way that whole scene looked, and going back to what we talked about last episode, was I don't like that feeling that I get when I'm gonna get scared.
Yeah.
And I kind of like understood what I was going for in this one, and just like kind of embraced it in a sense. And I really enjoyed the anxiety that I was getting during that train scene where he's in the back and then he slowly, and this goes to also Fright Night, when they're in the club, and
Oh,
we'll get to there.
yeah.
And he's
The
far
best
away.
thing ever.
Yeah.
He's far away.
Yeah.
And then he's a little bit, and then just a little bit closer. A
Yeah.
little bit closer. I saw the two parallels of that thing, and that's not a jump scare, but I thought that was cool in the way that they were able to build something to get you to a point where like, oh, it's about to go down.
Yeah.
And that was a great scene.
Yeah, and he just stabs her right in the
Somebody got
stomach.
stabbed in this?
Yeah. Again? But yeah, she gets stabbed right where her girlfriend got stabbed before. And, but yeah, so everyone else gets to the theater and after she's attacked. So Chad, Tara, and Sam meet Kirby there and they leave Danny outside. They just don't trust Danny at that point. They're like, no, you stay behind.
So the one
Yeah.
person they could have trusted,
Right. They
chose
left
not
out.
to.
Yeah.
His
So
name's Danny?
I mean, they have like a
Yeah.
foundation to not
I
know.
thought his name was Red Herring.
yeah, no, well it is. My name's Red. Dot herring. No, but yeah, he ends up staying outside and everybody else goes into the theater where Kirby already has stuff set up. And so this is basically where the rest of the third act happens, like the climax of the film.
If I could give everybody at home a visual, just picture a train derailing.
Oh no.
Because that's the third act of this movie. I'm not even being funny.
Yeah, I know.
It's like I really like
No,
the
like-
movie, and then it just goes
So like
south.
spot on.
Yeah. So Detective Bailey makes a call and says Kirby was fired from the FBI 2 months ago, kind of shining like doubt for us, even the audience, to not trust Kirby. So they're in the theater. We get that little shine of
magic.
doubt about Kirby, and Chad and Tara have that kiss that they were meant to have earlier. So Ghostface shows up and starts chasing Chad, Tara, and Sam through the theater. Eventually, the other Ghostface shows up, and the two they end up stabbing Chad. Like, so Chad's like fighting the other one shows up and he stabs Chad.
And the Swiss cheese.
And so I tried to count how many times, and I
60.
think I counted 11.
I was
Even
gonna say,
Sam thought that was too much.
Whoa!
She's like, come on,
Whoa,
psycho.
buddy!
I remember the first scene with the girl in the yellow dress, which yellow.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I don't know. Maybe my TV's a
I
bad
wanna-
color. I don't
I-
know.
Colorblind guy.
Yeah. I want to say I counted 30 stabs. How many do you need?
Yeah. Well, that's the weird thing. So we see Chad get stabbed 11 times, and I tried to count like every.
I was going to say, we need to go back one of these
Yeah.
days and just count all of the stabs
Yeah.
from not just this one, but the entire franchise.
Oh, that'd be.
No, I would
interesting.
do that, but you and I tried that once, and your breathing got real heavy, and you were just like licking your lips
It
and
was-
stuff. It was really weird.
It awoken something inside of me. too.
Yeah, it definitely looks at
You know, like when you could feel electricity in the air.
Next question.
Yeah. Next question.
So,
You're
so
sick.
the two corner Ghostface and are cornered by Ghostface, and Kirby scares them off. Only she gets shot by Detective Bailey, and who is the first reveal of one of the killers. So, Detective Bailey, who turns out to be one of the Ghostface killers, as well as Ethan, who I think everyone
That
you
curly-haired
suspected.
son of a bitch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Ethan.
I was at
I call
Epcot.
him Kmart Evan Peters.
Yeah, and then Quinn, who we thought as the audience may have died earlier, where I was like, I don't know, I didn't see it, so I don't. If it doesn't happen,
That's
then
fair,
I still,
EJ. I'll give that
You know what
to
I mean?
I got it.
Yeah.
Your Roman thing that you said before, I was
Yeah.
like, you know what? EJ's right. Give it to him.
Yeah, it's Roman. Yeah,
it's yours.
So it's always like, oh, that person is not off the table,
Yeah.
right? As like a suspect. But so as soon as I showed Ethan and then her, I'm like, okay, why these three? Like, I wasn't sure.
Something
the
doesn't
team
add
up.
up. There should be.
Yeah, like, okay, so the detective and her, they lost someone, right? They mentioned earlier, she's like, oh, ever since my brother died, my father's been really overprotective of me, right? So I'm like, okay, so is it someone that like their brother died? Like I don't understand. Like, was it like a victim somehow? You know what I mean, of Ghostface, and now they're projecting it onto Sam. I just wasn't sure what. This is how my mind was working as like they're pulling off the masks.
Can I tell you
and
what
stuff.
I was thinking?
Yeah.
How badly I want one of these movies to end where they take the mask off and they're like, who are you?
Yeah, who are you?
I'm the guy from the laundromat.
I was watching you the whole time.
It's like, no, it's not ringing a bell. He's like,
I sit
my
next
whole
to you.
life revolved around this moment.
Didn't you get my letter?
Nah, not you.
I didn't think it was you.
Do you know Brad? No, I don't know Brad. I'm going home.
But so they
Stabbed 27 times in the heart.
they actually end up revealing that they're Richie's. Well, it's Richie's father, sister, and brother. I don't know.
Mom's stuck in traffic.
They wanted revenge for what Sam did to Richie. How did you feel about that reveal? Like that it was his family.
It just was so like, oh.
Cringy.
No, not cringy. It was just kind of like a thing where I felt like the movie had me, the masks came off, and I was just like, oh, that's just a big bag of so what.
Yeah.
They were just the most unremarkable killers. And I thought the last movie had some pretty unremarkable killers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I just to backtrack. And
A bit of a letdown?
A huge letdown. You remember like at the end of 4, like I thought it was real interesting when they had like Jill be a killer because there was some kind of like weight to it.
Yeah.
Because it kind of made you think she was going to be like the new Sid.
Right.
This movie I was just kind of like, oh, it's those people.
Yeah.
There's
And
nothing.
again, it kind of like circles back to what
Did
I
you
said
like it?
before. I had a feeling it was going to be like a parent thing.
Yeah, 'cause
because
it was like
of
the Scream 2
Scream
stuff,
2,
yeah.
like how they're pretty much the same beats. Like
None of
throughout
them were
it,
Laurie
but-
Metcalf for the
But
record.
no one beats Laurie Metcalf.
so awesome.
She's amazing. Debbie Salt.
So are you essentially saying that they rewrote Scream 2? So how far into Scream 6 did you say, okay, this is Scream 2?
As
out
soon
of
as it was
gate.
starting, yeah, I was like, all right, this is Scream 2.
Yeah, I just
like,
felt, you know what I mean?
Yeah, there was a lot of the beats. They're at college. The second movie, they're in college.
Just needed a
They're
character.
not in Woodsboro, which is in the second movie. They're not in Woodsboro. You know what I mean? So it just kept hitting all those beats that
the exception of one. I needed the Jerry O'Connell. I think I love
love
you.
you. Oh yeah, but Danny, the boyfriend, being like a suspect, like, but
Yeah.
I had a feeling the whole time like it's not him because he's gonna be like the Derek of this movie. You know what I mean? Like
I
either
never suspected him at all.
right. Like I felt there was no.
Scream
They
2?
try to on the subway. They're like, oh well, you pulled me into the subway and left Mindy
The
behind.
one who
And
they
it's like-
kicked out of the Core 4,
Oh,
who
yeah.
wanted to be part
Oh
of
yeah,
it.
just
The
I saw
hot
that
guy
kid, I was
across
like,
from-
yeah,
yeah.
because he takes econ, you know.
Yeah.
And now
Oh no, that's Ethan.
that's Ethan.
What
Yeah,
are
Danny-
you talking about?
We're talking
Danny's
about
the
beautiful
hot guy.
shirt next
Oh,
door.
the beautiful man across the hall.
Beautiful
Yeah.
man across the hall.
Yeah, you know.
I
I
never.
never suspected it.
No, with that
Yeah.
bod.
No, with that.
That body.
That
don't
body,
close.
no way. That guy doesn't have time to go around killing people.
Yeah, he's too
'Cause
busy
he's
working
killing
on
it at
himself.
the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
You don't
so
get these abs.
yeah, so eventually Sam and Tara like escape and kill each of the Kirsch family members one by one, and Sam ends up stabbing. I don't even know how. I couldn't even count because it was so fast. It was like like the dad, Richie's dad, Detective Bailey. She ends up stabbing. I think it's probably about 29 times. Like she's just like going to town on him, and then stabs him in the eye. You know?
I like the stabbing in the eye.
Yeah, I thought that was
That was
good.
a good finish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
But the best part of this,
It's like
and I'm
she
not,
was like dotting her eyes.
yeah, she's like right in the eye,
Boom.
Crossing the T's
crossing
and
the T's and
dotting
dotting
your
the
lowercase
lowercase J's.
Intro 2 is so good.
But so
What are you mental?
she goes poof, like, and he falls, and this is the only part like that I really enjoyed is they walk out of the curtain and you have the movie projecting and the Ghostface mask is on fire, and like, and they're playing Red Right Hand and stuff, and I'm like, okay, that is pretty cool. I wish like the I don't know, like other stuff was better in this movie. But as far as like an ending, like them coming out, and I'm
of
like,
that scene.
yeah, like there's something about it, like the Ghostface mask on fire without the theater actually being on fire. You know how like every movie now it's like world ending,
Yeah.
everything has to catch on fire,
Everything
or
needs to burn
there's a
to the ground.
rainstorm, like you know what I mean. So they did like got around it by just kind of showing it on a movie screen. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And now Red Right Hand is like it's played. It's like it's diegetic and non-diegetic to the
Yeah.
franchise.
Yeah.
It's also, I was going to say,
'Cause-
if you hear that song, you know what that's associated with.
Oh,
By the
yeah.
way, what was the killer's name in the fifth one? Richie.
Richie.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Richie sucks as a filmmaker.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I was like, because I was watching the footage and I'm like, who made this? Tommy Wiseau?
yeah.
Oh, hi, Sydney.
Oh hi, Sydney.
Hello.
Everybody betray me. I'm fed up with this world. So eventually they Kirby's all still alive.
Barely.
Yeah. So in the end, Kirby, Chad, and Mindy all survived, as well as Gail, which is told to us through like the audience by Danny, which is reminds me of G.I. Joe the movie. I don't know if you remember this, but originally in Transformers, the animated movie, Optimus Prime dies. And audiences were so upset by this that when they made G.I. Joe the movie and Duke dies, at the end they have like this overdub, which always cracks me up every time I watch it. But it's like, Duke's gonna be okay. And it's off screen.
He's all right.
Yeah, and they're all like, woo! They beat the Cobras, and then, like you just hear off screen, Duke's gonna be okay. And so it always made me laugh. I always thought it was the
He was like
stupidest
an
thing.
assistant director that
Yeah,
they just made.
because Hasbro was just like, oh, we can't kill Duke. Like everyone hated that we killed Optimus Prime.
okay.
Yeah. So.
Oh wait, before we go out
no
of the theater,
joke in this, like Danny says Gail's gonna be okay, and I lost it. I literally lost it.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not even. If you go back and you watch that scene, he goes, "Gail's gonna be okay," and I went, "Oh my god! Like this is so."
I like to
Yeah.
think that was a reference. To
I do
Transformers.
too. Is this a reference in G.I. Joe right now? But
Real quick before we get out of the theater,
Yeah.
there was one line that made me laugh, and I will feel a certain way if I don't get to it. With the dad when he's doing his monologue, he's
Oh,
up
yeah.
on stage and he refers to the two kids that he killed at the beginning of the movie. He says they're wannabe film students, and I feel like the line should have been wannabe filmmakers. To be a film student, you need only commit to crippling student loan debt and just sit down in a classroom.
right.
That's all it takes.
Yeah.
I was like, I think that was a line flub.
Yeah. Yeah. I should have been wannabe filmmakers. Yeah.
Jenna Ortega dropped the ball. On
She
that line.
should have rewritten that line. But yeah, so overall, that's the end of the movie, and we get like the scene where she is contemplating on taking the mask, or you know what I mean? Like she like looks at the mask, everyone's like walking off.
You think she's gonna take it? And
Yeah. And then she ends up like dropping it and walking away.
Does it seem like the right ending should have been her staring at the mask, wondering if she wants to take it, and then cut to black?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Instead, we just watched them walk away awkwardly, and
Yeah.
just a lazy wide shot.
It was supposed to end that way, but
Jenna
I
Ortega
know.
was
Yeah,
like,
she's like,
she's like, I don't want any loose ends.
yeah,
So,
she's like, that's the kind of screenwriter I am.
but overall, what would you give this movie? Like, how would you rank? Like,
Out of like 10?
yeah,
Oh, I don't know. I thought we were doing like emojis.
yeah. What are
How about you
emojis for
first,
this?
bro?
Okay, I give it a smooch emoji with a heart
Okay.
and the two scream emojis.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I gave it a disco ball, stabbing knife, Jewish temple thumbs up.
Yes, yes.
Disco ball because they were in a club at some point, right?
Yeah, like in the beginning, they're
Stabby knife because people got stabbed
right.
once or twice. The Jewish temple I just thought was hilarious. The thumbs up, it wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So I mean,
That's how I feel like the Scream movies aren't.
They're-
Like, there's definitely terrible sequels out there, and their sequels are normally pretty good, right?
My emojis I would give.
Yeah.
No, mine's not nearly as awesome as whatever the hell
The
you
Jewish
did.
temple? Yeah, it's okay.
Disco ball.
Mine would just be like more literal. It's the scream emoji.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
And then a heart.
uh-huh.
And then man shrugging.
Yeah,
guy
like,
in wheelchair.
Maybe.
So
All right.
you liked it, but you wanted more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
And
wasn't
then-
the worst. I could think of worse ways to kill an hour and however long that was.
It was 2 hours.
2 hours.
Was it?
It was
Wow,
2
that's how
hours.
intriguing it was.
Yeah.
Again, I was looking at my phone the majority of the time.
So here's my biggest problem with these movies. They're kind of like if Disney made a Scream movie.
Yeah.
I know it's probably puzzling to you, but they have a real problem committing to killing people in these last two movies.
Yeah.
Like, there are no stakes in these movies, so I find myself very bored by them.
If I had to say anything about that, I would say that I feel that the producers and the directors are so concerned with keeping the thing going that they're not going to make huge decisions to like kill off major, because they want to be able to bring who the first guy was. They're going to want to bring that back, and you can't kill Gale, not in
Yeah.
or movie
Yeah.
number 7 or 6.
But
or
like
whatever.
if the whole like EJ's thing with the like Gail's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
I mean that's like kind of sums up the whole movie. doesn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, it's just like-
Chad's gonna be okay.
Yeah, Chad comes out-
Got stabbed so many times.
Yeah.
On top of the stabs that he got in the last movie, his body is in shambles.
Yeah. It should be in shambles.
Yeah.
Scar tissue is a lot stronger than regular skin, so I mean, maybe he's developed,
Swiss
he's
cheese, Vince.
become accustomed to it.
He was
Yeah.
poking holes in him.
Yeah, no, like Dewey came back in the second one and he had like nerve damage from just getting stabbed one time.
Yeah, Chad comes
you know what
back
I mean?
like a Chippendales dancer in this one, remember? Had like a little cowboy outfit
Yeah, like
on.
no.
He's like, hey, guys.
What's up? Yeah.
Oh, they forgot to put my scars on. Oh,
Yeah.
well.
Oh well. But
Well, that's
and then
Hollywood.
even Kirby, she's only stabbed one time in Scream 4. You know what I mean? So it seems like a little excessive with the stabbing in these movies and having your characters survive those. Does that make sense? Because like in the old like other like Scream movies like Wes Craven, the violence always felt real.
Yeah.
You know, and then
Like the very first scene in the
Yeah.
original Scream is, I'm so used to it now, right? Like I'm
Yeah.
very desensitized to horror films, but like
Desensitized
you-
to most things.
most
at this
things, like I watched a man get hit by a car the other day. I didn't even change my gait. I just
he didn't
kept
feel
going.
anything.
I kept driving. I just kept going. No, I found like if you were
Subway
watching.
subs aren't going to pick up themselves. So
Well, yeah. That first movie, like for somebody who's just kind of getting into horror films, it's played so straight and so real that
Yeah.
it's actually kind of scary, right?
Right.
It's like somebody coming into it would be like, wow, like that's kind of disturbing,
Yeah.
But like these new ones, it's like they should be putting like cartoon sound effects into it. Like
Exactly.
When they're getting stabbed, it should be like, what?
Yeah. So you have they're just like running, no problem. But there's a lot of like, so those original ones, like Wes Craven understood violence is real, and so you have where anytime a character was stabbed or injured, Sid falls down from a window, and then the rest of the movie she's kind of has like a limp to her. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Where this. Like Jenna Ortega jumps from the second floor and then she's just walking outside.
Yeah.
She gets
And she's stabbed, a couple
Stabbed,
times. So it's like, and Mindy, who's stabbed in the abdomen, like her girlfriend got stabbed pretty much in the same area and was like just done, right? Like she couldn't climb the ladder. She was like excessively bleeding. Where in the end of this, you see Mindy, she's like running down the street and hopping into like the ambulance and stuff. And she's like, oh, I missed everything. But that's like one of my complaints with the new movies is like the violence is very excessive, but
the consequences to such violence
yeah,
aren't measured in what happens the rest
yeah,
of the movie.
but then it feels comical because it's like not treated real.
Yeah,
you know
and,
what I mean?
and that's like so if you're comparing it to Scream 2, which we were before,
Yeah,
Randy is like the bravest choice of a character to kill because everybody loved Randy.
Yeah.
So like he dies and he stays dead. And then they talked about in the third film, because I'm a big nerd and I read a bunch of the stuff, they were talking about bringing him back for the third one.
Yeah.
And like Wes Craven's like, no, that's just kind of, it's like stupid.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, that's not believable because it's like he got stabbed. You need to stay dead. You need your consequences to stick. Right.
Exactly.
But these movies are just like it's hard to feel invested in anything because I just don't, or like to feel that level of suspense because I just know everything's going to be, Gail's going to be okay.
Yeah, Gail's going to be okay. But no, they introduced 3 new characters to like that friend group, right? And so 2 of them are the killers and then 1 is the only one that dies. So like, you know what I mean? Like, so there's 7 of them, not even counting the roommate or like not the roommate, but the guy from across the hall. But like you introduce all these new characters, everyone lives, and there's only one major death of one of those characters. You know, everybody else throughout the movie is like the guys in the bodega, you know what I mean? Like all these like kind of unnecessary characters that are getting killed off
like
on the side.
cameo kills.
Yeah, like just cannon fodder.
Yeah,
basically.
like it's just like we introduced these characters simply to kill them because we're not brave enough to kill the characters that you need to kill.
Right.
Like you need to take down a couple of them because otherwise, how do you get scared?
Yeah. So, that's my biggest like complaint with the new movies.
Yeah.
I would say, I did enjoy Scream 5. I feel like I'm on that weird. Like everyone liked this more than Scream 5, but I actually favor Scream 5 because it still had the beats of like the other Screams a little bit. You know, like the pacing's really good in Scream 5 compared to like this, I guess. I don't know.
Scream 5 is like flat soda to me.
Yeah. It's still tasty.
It's still, there's still some flavor there. It just isn't.
Yeah, it
You know,
doesn't
I mean,
pop
I didn't
for
mean
you.
that'd even be funny. I was just
Yeah.
saying, like, I don't even drink soda, so it's a weird metaphor. I know, so it's what am I doing? But like that's kind of the equivalent for me is that it's just kind of like okay, like it's there, but it just like I remember all the scenes with the kids when they were trying to like harken back to the original film with them all sitting around the fountain.
Yeah.
And Scream 5 I'm referring to.
Yeah.
And it was like when the characters are talking, like there was no life in this movie.
Yeah.
And like when Sam is talking about the Billy Loomis connection.
Oh yeah.
This is just awful, and I just felt myself getting pulled out. But like the Wes Craven movies, like I don't know, man. He was just like a better filmmaker, I guess.
There was just just better momentum.
Yeah.
Like it felt like
He knows how to pace a movie.
yeah.
Instead of,
Like you have like these great opening scenes, and then thereafter, you know, think about the first Scream movie. You have where Drew Barrymore and Steve get killed in the beginning, right? And there's not another killing until like late in the movie, which is, you know what I mean, like which is Principal Hembry,
yeah.
who's next.
Who we're
And-
gonna meet this weekend.
Yeah, I know. I'm so excited.
just gonna be
But yeah, so he always you had the chase scenes in time to give a more of a story and stuff, but he was able to like pace it that you don't need someone to die every 5 seconds to have a good movie.
Yeah.
You just need like a good story and pace yourself well enough that when you do get to those scenes, there's a better payoff for it.
Yeah,
you know?
there was like especially that first Scream. There's just like it's like just like that master class in like horror storytelling.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like you have that mixture of like Wes Craven, Kevin Williamson, Jenna
Yeah.
Ortega.
Damn it!
Hey, if anybody's brave enough to listen to this twice, you can make a drinking game out of every time
You
say
mentioned Jenna
Ortega.
Ortega.
and co-writer.
But with that being said, I just want to. Do you have anything you would like to plug, Rory?
Oh wait, but are we wrapping?
Yeah.
Okay. I had,
Yeah, Vince, go ahead.
I had something in my brain, but I
Go
completely
ahead.
forgot about it. Now that Scream 6 is over,
Yeah.
and they've clearly wrapped the franchise, and there's no way they're going to create another movie from it.
Never.
Right. Yep.
If, by chance, they could scrap up the money to make a Scream 7, what would you like to see?
Um.
Did not happen.
Yeah. No, I would say like what Rory said, like have a legacy character like Stu come back, and like fans would love it. You have the opening kill. I would actually take something like this, like you have Stu who returns, right? So you have the opening kill, and as he takes the mask off, just like this last movie, and we know it's Stu for the rest of the movie, and like no one else, they're all like suspecting, like pointing fingers at each other, not knowing, you know, what we know, like the audience is kind of in on it. Just change the formula. Yeah, so Vince, do you have anything you'd like to plug?
I'm good.
What about Three Jack's Burger Bar?
No, I'm okay.
You know what? I'm going to plug Three Jack's Burger Bar. That's my plug.
I'm actually going to plug Two Jacks.
You're gonna okay. So you like what is this place that you're talking about?
So you guys should check out Three Jack's Burger Bar, located in Dunmore, Pennsylvania. It's one of the best places for any type of cheeseburger. They have a specialty burger every month.
I really like that you've dropped your voice like an octave,
Just
to
to
make
pitch
it
for
a
you.
little bit, a little sexier.
You got like your shill voice.
Yeah. Hey,
Come on down
come on down.
to Three Jacks, where you can have yourself the best burger in town.
That's right. Well, I think it's one of the best burgers in the world.
I'd argue the best. Just saying.
I think so. Like, I've been like to San Diego. Went to one of their best burger places in Miami and New York City. And I'm telling you, I'm 100% on this. This place is one of the best burgers.
I devoured a man made out of burger once.
Yeah.
All right.
And
This is
it
the
wasn't
best I've had.
as good as
Less
Three Jacks.
screaming when you go to Three Jacks.
Yeah.
This one time I was at Three Jacks and I ordered this burger with all these toppings that I wanted on it.
Yeah.
And then Jenna Ortegas came and
Rewrote
my order.
The
rearranged
recipe.
your burger?
She rewrote the recipe.
I don't even like avocado, but she
Yeah,
just
she
was,
knew it.
It was
She
on
knew.
there. It didn't
And
matter.
She knows what works
And
sometimes.
She showed up on a day we weren't even open.
weren't
She
even
showed up on a
supposed to be
Wednesday.
here. It was weird.
Yeah.
So, again, Raven View.
Oh, yeah.
That's a thing, right?
Yeah, Rainview Productions. You can.
Follow on YouTube.
We're gonna
Yeah.
figure out how are we gonna post this? Are we gonna create like a channel on YouTube for this,
Oh, we'll
or
do something.
are we gonna release it through Raven View?
Yeah, we'll
I
do
know
something.
we're gonna
Talk
do
about
something.
it.
We don't have-
We'll talk about it off the
So, well, I mean,
And we have an email too, if you want to email us at freakles@gmail.com.
every time. This is now 2 episodes in a row that you guys don't even know the name of your own email address.
You could try to email us.
Last time you emailed each other, I think.
I sent you. Yeah, I sent you a thing on your email for.
All right,
Oh,
there's also
okay.
isn't there like a Twitter handle, EJ?
You can follow me on Twitter or Instagram. It doesn't
Any
matter.
of those things.
Yeah, I do
Is
have
popular?
that. I don't know.
Okay, I'll check it out.
Yeah, you can follow me there.
No,
yeah.
you do have a handle?
Yeah, I do. I have a Twitter at EJ Leeson, and then Instagram at EJ-esque, where I just take random pictures of things.
People.
And then, yeah, I don't know.
While
So
they're
you can follow
sleeping.
any of those.
Yeah.
freaklespodcast@gmail.com.
That's it. Yeah.
If you have any questions,
I doubt it.
we just are not interested, but we will entertain you.
You boys got anything else?
No, I would just like to say thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you, Rory. Thank you, Vince. Thanks for Caitlin and Becca for sitting in and hanging out with us.
Thanks for the giggles.
Yeah, thanks for the laughs.
And to any fans that we may have put together,
Nope.
we hate you.
They already know that by if they were to listen.
Yeah,
which
this
is
Yeah.
this
weird to
this
hate them.
this podcast is to spite you.
yeah, like Vince actually wore a Scream shirt, but he spelled it wrong
Well, you didn't wear a shirt. He didn't wear pants.
to spite us.
I wore my Screm shirt.
Yeah,
Swank shirt.
yeah. It's a swarm. It's supposed to say Scream.
Hey, you know what else? On next podcast, we'll actually have some stories to tell from Fan Expo in Philly.
Yeah. We're going to meet Sam Raimi.
This is this weekend.
What's gonna be there?
And
Is that
Christensen,
Oh, it's a nerd convention. Fair
Sam
enough. Okay.
Raimi.
What do you mean, nerd? I mean,
Us?
just what? Come on, we're not nerds. We're very cool people.
Yeah, I like your Creature Feature Weekend pen.
Thanks.
Do you need
What
your
is that?
inhaler?
I don't know.
What shirt is
It's just it says blessed.
Hashtag.
I know. I love hashtag blessed. But no, guys, thank you so much for listening and hanging out with us.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. It was good.
Good times.
Yeah. All right.
So sorry, Jenna Ortega.